name is Anabel Roque. I'm the curator of MUCA, and we represent urban and contemporary art. So it's not just urban art what we're representing, but also artists that work on mixed media and also try to push the boundaries of contemporary art a bit further. So our main interest of the gallery is to show that urban art is part of the contemporary art scene. So what I'm always trying as a curator is to put a bigger discourse on the whole project. So I like to go into details and to give the whole thing a bit more theory and a bit more deep, you know? The Urban Art Organization is our huge mother of the whole project. So it exists since 8 years, and we started with this thing as kind of an office to do different projects in public space. And we had a small little space here in Munich at Gärtnerplatz, and then we were thinking we kind of need a better location, because a lot of artists were starting to work with us and we're like, okay, we need to do exhibitions all together. And then we were searching in Munich for some time to find a good location, and we found it at Maximilianstraße 54. So this is our location, Kunsthaus Maximilian. And in this Kunsthaus, there is the gallery MUCA. So we have like this three things. So there's the Urban Art Organization, which represents projects, things in public space. And then we have this gallery that's called MUCA. It does for permission. I've just been to the city council and to ask for permissions to get some walls. And then we were like, so you do urban art? And we're like, yes. And we're sitting in Maximilianstraße, and they're like, oh, really? That changes a bit. So yeah, it helps, it does. Yeah, so we represent Case from the McLean crew. We work very close together with Roque. They also done a very nice exhibition end of last year, beginning of this year. We represent LAT, Les Enfants Terribles from Düsseldorf. And we represent Karl Görlich, who's a contemporary artist from the so-called Leipziger Schule. I'm very much interested in the political sphere, you know. So my first step into urban art was because I was working in Spain a lot with the people who were trying to protest the political sphere in Spain. And so I met a lot of street artists in there. And same here in Germany, when you kind of work in this thing between public space, political sphere, this is like most likely where urban artists are working. So I kind of feel that I have the similar topics that I'm interested in as the street artists. And it's kind of, for me, I'm an art historian, you know, I studied the whole thing. It's like always, you leave urban art apart, and I never understood that. So as I knew so many people from the urban art scene, I was like, okay, I have to start to get this into the contemporary art discourse. So when I started, I was like, okay, I'm working with a stroke together. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Like urban art? Really? This is not art. So these were my beginnings, and from there on, I wanted to continue. I think it depends where you're looking at. I think the commercial part of urban art is not necessarily a problem, because it just shows that it's kind of happening in a professional way. So as soon as you become a professional artist, of course it's becoming commercial, because you need to get money. You need to pay your rent. Certainly it's becoming more commercial. It depends on if you're implying if commercialization also means that it's not subversive anymore. Yes, it's not, but that doesn't change the whole thing, you know? Like urban art can also go more into format, can also play with the materials. Like it's another field that it's becoming into. So there are still artists who are still subversive, maybe not in Europe that much anymore, even though a lot of artists who are represented by galleries still work in public space. Not as much subversive maybe anymore, but they do. Well, I have to say that I think that time in Berlin is over anyways. Apart from that, I think in Munich you have a lot of potential because people, even though they have the reputation to be more conservative, they are also very much open to new movements. So yeah, I think the time of urban art is coming here in Munich, especially. Also a lot of people who've been abroad and are coming back. Like I worked several years in the US, and then you come back and you're like, okay, we have to broaden street art here in Munich. We have to put it a bit more international. I mean, we have artists like Lumit here, who have already a lot of years of working and also worked with the former civil council here in Munich. So it's like kind of a Bavarian representation a bit, you know? Like they know that it's not subversive by all means. No, it's my first time. For the Muka Gallery, it's the second time, and we've been 1 year before as the Urban Art organization. So 1 year Urban Art organization, and then we founded the gallery, so the second year with the gallery. Yeah, actually the opening yesterday has been a really great success, which is very unlikely. Usually the openings are very, well, they are not calm, but like calm in kind of selling. So that was a change yesterday. It was a very good starting point for us. Today it was more calm in terms of selling, but very crowded in terms of people coming in. So, I mean, there's a lot of come. I hope that a lot of people keep continuing asking us about things. Yeah, so we're opening on Saturday the exhibition Power of Movement of K.S. McLean. It's a huge heart project for me because this is one of the artists who's definitely more on the commercial scale, as you would say it. So he's represented by us, but he definitely didn't lose his subversive character. He's working very much in a political sphere. So in this exhibition we have two huge topics. They are kind of reflecting upon last year. So the two topics are hands and pigeons. The hands in every political gesture, as you can imagine, like the fist, the victory signs. So we have different signs, not so many persons behind, but through the gestures you can kind of imagine how the narration goes, and you can feel this imagination of a lot of protest people all around the world, like kind of the pictures of our generation, I feel. So it's a very amazing exhibition. We have several other exhibitions coming up, so we're planning to do another project with Herakut. But the next huge project we're doing is again here on Praterinsel. It's gonna be the Artmuck Live event with Ben Eine and Aiko, for example, and Zeus. So we are putting, it's again an art fair, which is a producer's fair. So actually artists without any gallery representation. Now you can ask, what is a gallery doing here? So what we're doing here is we want to put the production process back to the fair, you know? So the people are going to work here for 1 week. The people can come by, just look at the artists, what they're doing, and then all the pieces that are done here are going to go to the Talwood Festival. So we're planning a bit this year. The Talwood Festival is, let's say it's an organic summer festival, so there's lots of organic food, which is amazing. There are a lot of concerts. It's a bit like our Coachella maybe in Munich. There are like almost 1 million people visiting the festival. They have usually in the winter Talwood Festival, they have the art, so this year it's the first time they have also in summertime art representation. And so we did a cooperation with them where we're going to show urban art in a festival sphere again, outside. I hope you come by.